Hello, Kindred and Ghoul.
Hey.
How are we?
Nervous.
Great.
Are you sure?
Yeah, so totally sure. Yeah.
Maki, it's been a couple of days since you've seen your Domitor, Kieran. What have you been doing for the last couple of days?
Well, after getting rescued from being kidnapped, I went back to the bite, did damage control, especially with all of the shit that's been going down over there recently. Um, been cleaning out honest stuff. Um, to send back over to her home because tried to get in contact with them to let them know everything that happened. Um, but just has been trying to run the bite as usual since Kieran's nowhere to be found. And obviously he doesn't have a fucking phone, so I can't call him.
Why don't you give us a description of yourself? As detailed as possible.
I would love to. So, Maki, if I can pull it up. Maki is 5 foot even. Um, long, dark, wavy hair. She has very bright, silver-looking eyes. She's of a fairer skin tone from someone that you would expect who's Italian. It's still very olive, but still fair. From her mostly being inside all of the time. Lots of piercings. She's got multiple piercings on her ears. She has multiple face piercings, her nose. She's got septum. She's got a nostril piercing. She also dresses mostly trad goth. She doesn't do the painted white face anymore because she just doesn't feel like it most of the time. She's too busy. But she has a very charming look to her. She's very beautiful. Just very, very pretty. Definitely would get stopped and like hit on in the street. Um, she has punched people in the face before. Um, but yeah, she looks to be, she could be 28, she could be in her early 30s. Um, but yeah, she's just very like straight stature, and I can drop the picture in here because I have it. Ba, 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 ba. Beep, 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 beep. Dip, 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 dip. Boop. Boop. And here's her picture in the sidebar. She does wear mostly like I said, she's very traditional goth. She wears the black eyeshadow, the very intricate eyeshadows, the black lips, um, dresses mostly in all black. Sometimes she does tend for more of a professional look if she's working, but other than that, it's usually like the fishnets and the black dresses and the black slacks and very black. She wears a lot of black.
It hasn't been long since you've been dropped off. Audley having rescued you and A1 Tobias Forge. Unfortunately, Damien didn't make it. And as Audley recounted and told you, neither did Anna. Anna fought with everything she had. And when the choice came down to it, Audley had to make a choice. It was Anna or you and Tobias, and Audley chose. How does that make you feel?
I'm torn because while I'm grateful that I'm alive, I know how hard it's going to be on Kieran when he comes back, when he finds out wherever the fuck he is. And also just a little bit, maybe a sense of survivor's guilt. Just knowing that she gave herself for me in that moment. And also anger. I'm angry at the person who kidnapped me, who made Audley make that choice. A lot of anger.
The sun has risen, and from what Audley told you, if they didn't make it out of the Shadow Realm before the sun rose, both Isabel and Kieran were toast. They were gone. That was it. Do or die. The sun has since risen. It's been a couple hours at this point. You haven't heard anything. Not a word. What are you doing?
I would assume Maki has someone's phone number over in the hospital. She's probably gonna start trying to call people to be like, okay, what the fuck's happening? And if no one answers, she's gonna go over there. Or is gonna try to go over there.
Okay. You pick up the phone, you start dialing numbers. But as kindred are known to do during the day, unfortunately, none of them seem to answer their phone. You call non-kindred members. They don't seem to answer their phone either. Everything is radio silence for you.
Okay, maybe it is daytime. Maybe they just went to sleep. Maybe that's why they just... I don't like it. Is it smart to go over there? Probably not. I don't like this feeling in my gut. So if she's not going to get an answer, she's going to want to try to head over there.
What does your car look like?
Maki actually doesn't have a car. She has a motorcycle.
What does your motorcycle look like?
It's a... What are they called? I think it's the... Hold on. I had a picture and it's gone. You know the Indian motorcycles? Yeah, so she's got an all blacked out Indian motorcycle. I will pull up a picture so that you can see
Are you taking anything?
what
Are you taking anything with you?
she's gonna take her phone. She's gonna take her gun that she has. She's gonna tell people at the bar who are cleaning up and stuff, like Amalthea, the bartender, and say, I'm heading out. Hold down the fort. I gotta go figure something out. So just call me if you need me.
The bartender nods, kinda holds up their phone. We got you, boss. Don't worry about it.
All right, thanks, guys. She's also going to try to send a message to someone over where who works at Seraphina's bar or club. 'Cause she doesn't want to message Seraphina directly because she saves that for if shit really is going wrong. She's gonna message someone she knows that works at the club that she trusts and say, hey, I haven't heard anything from Kieran. He's supposed to be back by now. I'm gonna go to this address and figure it out. If you don't hear from me, or you don't hear from someone at the bar in 3 hours, tell Seraphina.
You see the bubbles pop up, somebody typing on the other end. They disappear for a moment. And then they pop back up again, and a couple of minutes later, you get the response back. Probably won't do any good to tell her until, after sunset, but I'll see what I can do.
Maki will send another message back. Yeah, probably right, but just know that you need to tell Seraphina if you haven't heard from me.
Can do.
And since Maki is going to be riding her motorcycle, she opts for thick black pants with her black leather jacket and her helmet and then her combat boots.
You head to the spot where you've parked your motorcycle outside the club. Don your gear. Kick the motorcycle into gear. You hear that all too familiar, roar, and then a kind of settles down into a purr almost. Something that's become quite comforting to you since you've bought it. Something that's almost relaxing. You kick off into gear, and away you go, across the city. Takes about 20 minutes, give or take. Lots of time for thoughts to go wild, run rampant. But there's also something freeing about the feeling of the wind in your hair. Just watching the road and the sidewalks pass you by, people kind of going about their lives. The city is getting up, doing starting to do what it does during the day when your people don't. The people that you hang out with don't really function. It's almost quaint in its own right. Sorry, 1 second. It's almost quaint in its own right. Comforting. Knowing that no matter what happens with you, things tend to remain the same. And eventually you find yourself driving down the street with what should be the old abandoned hospital. The address that you were given. You go to turn into the driveway, only to find the gate booth and somebody sitting at it. Big, muscular man, gray shaggy hair, kind of thick eyebrows. He looks weathered, like he's been out in the sun a lot. He's got a bit of a glint of wild around, almost a hint of wild around him. You can't tell how you know. but there's just something about him. And he watches as you drive up.
Maki will stop the motorcycle, pull up her visor, kind of look over at him. I'm looking for Kieran. They gave me this address. You gonna let me in?
And you are...
Maki.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, 1 second. The guard looks at you. A moment later reaches over and flips a switch. The new arm that's literally just been installed slowly raises. Good luck.
Maki just kind of like looks at him, just nods, flips the visor down, goes forward.
The arm flips down as you drive up to the front door. Park your bike, you get off.
Maki's gonna pull off her helmet, kind of nestle it on the seat. Looks up the hospital. God, this place is creepy.
Parts
All right.
You know, this building has probably been abandoned for about 40 years, give or take, since like the early half of the 80s, or the first half of the 80s, somewhere around there. But you also see signs that this building, in some parts, looks like it's being restored. There's scaffolding on the outside. There's, fresh new paint job, new glasses being installed. There's a couple of guys crawling around the roof, replacing some of the shingles.
Okay. That's gotta be expensive as fuck. She's gonna walk up to the door and knock a few times.
Isabella, you've just had a rather intense discussion with both Ryder and Ricky. A lot of things to think about. A lot of things to consider. But the one thing that you had feared turned out to be a baseless fear. Turns out, Ryder's love is actually unconditional for you. And knowing what you know and what you have been told by Ryder, especially in your standing with the pack, things have become a little more not easygoing, but a little more. You find you're able to rest a bit easier these days, especially after the shit you've been through last night and for the last couple of days. I want you to roll me a wits plus awareness, please, as you are curled up next to Ricky on his bed and starting to drift off into a sleep. Maki, how loud are you knocking on the door?
I'm gonna start at a normal volume, but if it hits a couple of minutes have passed, she's gonna start getting louder.
Thank you.
I got a 3.
It takes probably about 5 to 10 minutes after Maki's arrival, which, you don't know about, but you eventually hear what sounds like a pounding coming from somewhere far off. Just as you're starting to, fall asleep. Just as you're starting to get to that point.
hearing the sound and realizing it's not letting up. Now I assume Ricky has fallen into like the day slumber.
Yes.
Can she get out of the grasp or no?
Yes, no, absolutely. Absolutely she can.
All right, she mutters very darkly, pulls on her boots, doesn't bother. Actually, she pauses as she's about to leave, looks at the jacket, grabs it, puts it on as a little extra secure feeling, goes towards, muttering very darkly, and any of the werewolves that are awake hear her just say, "Motherfucker, coming here in the middle of the fucking day, just trying to get some fucking sleep after not sleeping for 3 fucking days." Just profanity after profanity after profanity as she's walking.
You hear one of the werewolves chuckle.
Fuck you too, she says, not even looking over as she's like walking, still very tired.
You didn't think it was going to be that easy being like the day spawn for a fucking vampire, did you?
No, but this is the first time I've had someone actually try to wake me up when I'm trying to sleep, she says as she walks towards the front door. I imagine Maki can hear it by now.
Why do you think they use ghouls? What do you think is one of the main purposes?
I don't know. Easy blood, she says as she walks towards the front door, like ignoring it, just she's tired.
You hear the banging coming from
the front door.
You hear the banging coming from the front door. You open it. And on the other side of the door is an individual that you've actually seen hanging around Kieran. You know this is probably Kieran's ghoul. Maki, it's been like a solid few minutes for you, like 5 to 10 minutes, just insistently banging louder, and eventually the door is opened by a rather grumpy-looking individual, looking like they've just been woken out of a dead sleep. And they're wearing Kieran's jacket.
So Maki, like, starts to talk. She goes, "Oh my god, fucking finally. I was banging on the..." Why are you wearing Kieran's jacket?
Isabella suddenly has a deer in the headlight look, thinking, oh god, no, not after everything I've been through last. I just wanted one night of peace. Hi.
Hi. Why are you wearing Kieran's jacket?
He gave it to me.
Okay. Not completely out of the norm for him. Where is he? I was told that if y'all didn't come back by a certain time, that shit was gonna look awful. And I'm assuming since you're wearing his jacket that y'all came back in time. No one has called me. I've been calling. I know it's during the day. But hi, I would like to know if he's good, fine. He's an asshole. He doesn't own a phone, so I can't check on him.
I'm sorry.
Why are you apologizing? Where's Kieran? And Maki is like shoving you out of the way to get inside and is like calling Kieran's name. It's like, Kieran, this isn't fucking funny. Where are you?
That'll be a strength plus brawl, please. Isabella, how are you responding?
I think Isabella is still kind of in shock that this is happening so soon, especially since Kieran just passed away less than possibly 2 hours ago. So I don't know if she would fight it unless it was like an instinctual thing.
I only have strength. I don't have brawl.
Okay.
So 1 success.
Given how kind of caught off guard and surprised Isabella is, we will say that you managed to actually kind of push past Isabella, not exactly pushing her over, but pushing past her.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be a bitch. I was trying to just get past her.
Isabella still has a very lost guilty expression on her face as she's trying to figure out how the fuck do I explain this to someone?
Maki, like, whips around and looks at Isabella and goes, okay. I'm gonna ask questions, and you're gonna answer, okay? And I'm gonna try and stay very fucking calm, okay?
She nods her head.
Where is Kieran?
He saved me.
Okay, that doesn't answer my question. Where is he?
He didn't make it.
Maki stops and closes her eyes and takes a deep breath. It goes, you're telling me that he's dead?
I'm sorry, I couldn't do anything. Everything happened.
Yes or no? Is he dead?
Yes.
Okay. How?
We were getting out. Microphone work. We were getting out of the Shadowlands. We were all getting through the portal, and all of a sudden there was this wraith, I think they called it, and it went to tackle me, and Kieran got in the way, and it went through him. And he collapsed and the portal closed, and he I'm sorry.
Maki just suddenly goes like dead silent. And you can't read her face. It just looks like stone. Like it's just very which is honestly more terrifying because there's just no emotion on her face. And she stops and her jaw ticks and she goes,
Isabella's kind of like, the jacket kind of envelops her because it's clearly made for a man, and Kieran was quite a bit taller than her, so she's kind of like ripping the ends of the sleeves nervously, as if waiting for you to either explode, blame her, punch something, or all three.
Maki just kind of, okay. Kieran obviously cared enough about you to sacrifice himself for you. So I will not blame you. Although every part of me is screaming that I should just kill you right here. But I know it's not your fault. This is Kieran's whole fucking life. I have been waiting for this day. Keep the jacket. He would want you to have it. I'm going to leave before I do something I regret. And I apparently have business to attend to. And she's just going to turn on her heel, walk out the door, doesn't say another fucking word, just fucking leaves, gets on her motorcycle, puts it on, and she just speeds the fuck out of there.
Isabella kind of just stands there, closes the door behind Maki. Yeah, just added to another list of people I couldn't save, she says as she walks back towards Ricky's room.
Ricky hasn't moved, as vampires don't during the day. Still laying exactly where he was when you left him. You open the door. There's no response, no signaling that, welcome back. Nothing like that. Quiet, and it's cold.
She takes off the jacket, gently lays it beside where he had hung his, takes off her boots, crawls into bed with him, because even though she knows logically this is essentially sleeping beside a corpse, she feels safer being there than by herself right now.
You crawl back into bed, your mind racing. Millions of thoughts going through your head. A lot of blame. A lot of regret. Anger. Sorrow. But eventually sleep does claim you, Isabel. It takes a long while. But eventually sleep does claim you. It's not an easy sleep, it's a troubled sleep. Till you wake up later in the day, but we'll get to that at a later time. For now, we turn our sights to Maki, who saddles up on the bike, turns the ignition, and again that roar that dies down into a very comforting, familiar purr. Speaks of freedom, choices, talks about the open road, whispers to you in a way that not much does. Comforting in its own right. Did you kick off down the driveway? The guard, without even waiting for you, already has the arm raised. As you pass by, he looks at you with an almost apologetic look, and then lowers the arm behind you.
Maki doesn't even give him a second glance. She's speeding back to the bite.
Again, it's about 20 minutes, but you eventually find yourself, despite the whirling thoughts in your head, almost cacophonous noise, deafening and yet silent all at the same time. You don't even know where to start, you don't know what to do. You find yourself pulling up alongside the bite. All too familiar these days, except it looks different now. Almost foreign.
Maki's gonna go inside.
The bartender looks up at you. Everything good, boss?
Don't talk to me and tell no one to bother me.
Understood.
And she's gonna go into Kieran's, where Kieran and Anna lived, upstairs.
You walk in. You look around. Again, you know this place inch by inch. You helped Kieran build this from the ground up. Did a lot of the interior designing. Worked hand in hand with Kieran and Anna. And somehow, again, it looks completely foreign. It looks different, even though nothing has changed.
She's gonna walk in. She's gonna go straight for like Kieran's room and like Kieran's area. She's kind of walking around. Her hands are lightly just grazing over everything. She's just touching things that are his. And just walking around for a moment. She goes into his closet and sees just the pile of clothes of stuff that he last wore. She just picks up one of his shirts and just holds it in her hand. And she takes this moment to kind of just like hold it close to her chest as she just crumples to the ground. She won't cry. She refuses. But she just sits there for a moment. But then she feels the anger bubbling. It starts at like a slow boil. And it gets louder, like it's roaring in her ears. And she suddenly stands up. She walks out of the closet. She looks at all of Kieran's things and looks at the furniture and anything else that they had. And she just loses it. And she finds the first thing that she can grab and she just fucking grabs it and chucks it at the closest wall.
Make a composure and resolve roll, please.
Blaze, I sent a message to the storyteller chat in case you didn't see it.
One moment, thank you. Sorry, I wasn't looking directly at that.
Two successes.
The rage bubbles up. Overwhelming almost. It's hard to hold on when a river's rushing all around you and a torrential downpour flooding the banks. You can't dictate to a river how fast it goes or where it goes. And if you happen to fall in, all you can do is hold on for dear life and hope that you somehow manage to come out the other side unscathed, at least. Or at least alive. Unfortunately for you, Maki, your footing slips. And you fall. Into the rushing waters. You absolutely wreck the room. A lot of the belongings. Holes in walls, doors ripped off. Closet hanging poles just completely and absolutely shattered. Light fixtures and pictures. You're not sure how long you're like this. But when you come to, the sun is no longer in the sky. This is a good chunk of the day that has passed, apparently. And as you finally come back to some semblance of order in your mind, calming down, you happen to look down at one of the things that isn't shattered, which is your phone. And you see a message sent several hours ago. From Isabella, actually. The message is simple. Kieran did ask to make sure that you don't sell any of his clothes, and again, I'm sorry.
Maki looks at the message. Fucking bastard would ask me to keep his goddamn clothes. Maki stands up. She kind of like fixes herself a little bit, readjusts her clothes. She looks around. She's like, fuck. She looks at the time. She's like, all right, well,
It's about 9
I
o'clock.
did tell them if they didn't hear from me to tell Seraphina. I guess I gotta go fix that mess too.
As you're looking at your phone, another message pops up. Your text notification. It is actually from Seraphina. Checking in Are you there?
Maki will quickly send a message saying, I'm coming over.
Again, the typing bubbles. Is it good news or bad news?
Bad.
Again, the typing bubbles appear. You leave your bike where it is. You are not to drive.
Wasn't planning on it.
I will send somebody for you.
She just puts a thumbs up, and she is gonna keep the outfit that she had on. She doesn't feel like fucking changing. She goes downstairs. She goes to the bartender, Amalthea, and she goes, I need a favor.
Amalthea looks up at you, doesn't say anything, and looks at you with a look that you haven't seen before. Wits plus insight, please. You haven't seen Amalthea look like this before. Amalthea is terrified of you.
Maki kind of sighs. Goes like this and goes. And she leans in. And she's like, Kieran's dead.
Amalthea stops.
I lost it. And I'm sorry if you could hear me upstairs.
Oh,
but he's gone.
what do you need?
I wrecked the room upstairs. If you could find someone to go clean it up, just get all the broken shit out of the way, any of Kieran's belongings, just put it back, and I will figure out what to do with it all when I get back. I have to go.
I'll get in touch with our usual cleanup crew. Again,
Okay.
strictest confidentiality, and I will personally oversee them.
Thank you. The bar's going to be closed tonight.
Understood.
Get in touch with who you got to get in touch with. I got to figure out what we're going to do.
The schedules that were... the people that were scheduled for tonight, is this a night off with or without pay?
With pay.
Understood. I'll pass the message along. You go do what you gotta do.
Got it. And anything that was Kieran's that looks like personal belongings, if it looks broken, tell them not to throw it away. I will figure out if I can fix it.
Understood.
Okay, I'm leaving. Lock up when you leave.
Will do.
Okay. And she's gonna go wait outside.
Maki, you can feel a slight twinge in your neck. Just... your neck's starting to ache a little bit.
Maki's been a ghoul long enough, she would know that if he dies, she doesn't have a lot of time.
Yes.
Okay. Maki kind of rubs her neck. She goes, well, it sure does work fast. And she goes and stands outside the bite and waits.
Takes about 10 minutes from the end of the text exchange between you and Seraphina for an unfamiliar car to roll up. Can we get a description?
From afar, it looks like just like maybe like a very plain but well-kept sports car. As it pulls up, if does Maki know anything about cars?
She knows a little, not a lot.
Okay. It's for those of you listening anyway, it's a 2017 black Chevy SS. The windows are probably more tinted than they should be. It just kind of purrs and glides to a stop in front of you.
The back door opens.
Maki's gonna climb inside.
Almost as if by itself. The inside is dark and cool, almost comforting. You can see the world outside through the windows as you shut the door. The driver looks in the rearview mirror. Let's get a description.
All right, so about the car, a distinct thing that you'll notice when you get in, it smells of cedar and oranges. It is immaculately clean. And just above the radio, next to the driver, there's a little sticker that says, driver picks the music, shotgun shuts his cake hole. And I will drop a picture in the chat. So from what you can tell, she's average height and maybe a little on the short side. She's just wearing a plain hoodie, from what you can tell, black, nondescript. Nothing particularly stands out about her except that you notice in the rearview mirror, her eyes are insanely blue. It looks very unnatural almost. There we
No,
And
sorry.
She waits for you to sit down. You need your seatbelt, love.
Maki doesn't say a word, just buckles in and kind of leans her head back against the seat. And she's just staring at the ceiling.
Bit of a rough day.
You could say that.
Not to chat, that's all right. We'll be there soon. Just lean back and relax. She's gonna start the car, she's gonna turn on the music. There's a low rumble of AC/DC that comes running through. It's not super loud, so that way if you need to tell her something, she'll be able to hear you. But aside from that, she stays quiet, focused on the road.
Maki's just kind of sitting in the back seat, and you could tell like it looks like she's got like 1,000,001 things on her mind, and she starts to rub her hands together because they're starting to ache. She just is doing this in the back seat. Just looks like she's completely spaced out.
I'm gonna get our driver to make a dexterity plus drive roll, please.
God damn. All right. 4 10s is how many again?
4 10s is 8.
So 8 plus another. So
She's a
that's
really good driver.
10.
Maki, as you are kind of just staring, traffic's a little heavy today, like this evening. A little busier than normal around the city. Your driver here seems to be quite comfortable with that, weaving in and out of traffic and fitting into spaces that a car this size probably shouldn't be able to. Dodging in and out, taking side streets at speeds that would, quite honestly, should make anybody nervous. Few speed bumps, few potholes, but all that considered, your ride, you don't feel anything. Smooth as silk.
Vicky kind of looks at the driver and goes, damn. She's just kind of like stunned a bit and just goes, shit, if you offer your services, I might fucking hire you to drive me around town. Damn.
Appreciate the compliment, but if you want to hire me, you'll have to talk to someone else. I just work here. Now, I never mind making a little bit of cash on the side, so if you want to have my number, and she digs into her side pocket, kind of ruffles around for a little bit, and even though she's like obviously distracted and doing multiple things, it's not affecting the drive at all. And she'll just slide you 2 cards over the side. One is obviously the business card of like a taxi service, or at least it gets that kind of idea. There's a car and a little red phone on top, and it says cat call. And then there's another card underneath it that just says sweets and has a number underneath.
Sweets.
That's my name.
Nice. And Maki's gonna tuck the thing into her pocket and goes, well, I know who to call.
Just remember, I can't do day calls.
I don't usually work during the day.
Takes...
I'm assuming we're getting close to Seraphina's?
Yeah. You're like actually just pulling up outside. Doesn't take long. Enough for a short little conversation. Probably about 5-6 minutes between the 2 locations.
Now, I don't know what you got planned for the rest of your evening, but I've been told to wait here for you. So I'll be at the bar. And when you need me again, just yonder over and come talk to me.
Thanks. And thanks for the ride. I know you got paid to do it, but sorry I'm not much of a conversationalist right now.
I just like to drive, miss. Now, you stop worrying. Have a good night, love.
Are we at Seraphina's?
Yeah, you're outside.
Okay. Maki kind of just nods, gets out of the car, and goes to head in.
You enter the rather familiar location at this point. Give the proper passphrase. You open the door. You walk through. Into the rather familiar sights of the Velvet Pussycat. Supernatural haven for all sorts of creatures. Can't talk about it outside. But goddamn, do they know how to put on a show, and do they know how to treat people right. You walk in and there's an individual standing at the front podium. Nods at you. Maki.
Who is it?
Could our AST on stage today grab me just a random name for a hostess at the front desk? Because I totally thought of that.
I just didn't know if it was someone like we knew or like that Maki knew or anything.
I believe the hostess is Isobel.
Give me a
Isabel.
description for that. One moment.
I'm making you work for it. No.
This is a random NPC. I would like to know all of their background information, including their birthday and where they went to school when they were kids.
Oh, and what time their
Tell me
bathroom
everything.
schedule is in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. I also want to know what kind of coffee they like. Also, is she hot?
That's important.
It's very important.
Important.
Do you need a hand?
Yes. So you do know this I found them. It took me a hot second. So you do know this person. Her name is sorry, it's not Isobel, it's Isolde Thorn. She is the hostess of the Velvet Pussycat, so she is often the first person you see whenever you enter this establishment. She has long blonde hair that's pulled back into a slick updo, often in a ponytail, with very piercing green eyes that look at you with a very bright, charming smile that just seems so beautiful. She has this air of sophistication about her as she smiles at you, recognizing you like, Maki, good evening.
Isolde. Charming as always. I'm here for Seraphina.
Yes, of course. She's in her office.
All right. I will see you later. And Maki's just gonna make her way straight for Seraphina's office.
You make your way through the establishment, knowing it well at this point, having traveled this route many times. It's almost like you're on autopilot. A moment later, Sweets walks in through the door.
Evening.
Isolde looks at you, just nods. Lady Bonnet, this is your call.
Sorry, I was eating.
You're fine.
Sweets, how are you, my dear?
All right. Night just started. We'll see how it goes. Just gonna grab a drink while I wait for the lady.
Of course.
Had a
Would you
bad day.
Understandable. Booth or bar?
Ah,
All right, follow me right this way, she says as she so elegantly and gracefully walks you towards the bar.
You see the
Sweets is not elegant. She kind of swaggers a little bit like a shav.
As you take a seat at the bar, you're greeted by none other than Rafe, the one of the head bartenders here. Slides down the bar, stands in front of you, almost like he didn't step, like he's gliding across the floor. Good evening. What'll it be?
Evening. Have I been coming here long enough to have the usual?
Works for me.
Just the usual.
Got you covered. Same tab as usual?
Yeah.
Coming right up, just bear with me. And Rafe turns back around to do what he does best, which is mix drinks and pretend like he's not hearing all sorts of gossip. Maki, you stride across the bar, heading down the back halls towards Seraphina's office. The door is partially ajar. Seraphina seems to be muttering to herself.
Maki will walk up to the door, give a quick 2-rap knock before she walks in.
1 second.
Got a phone call.
Yep.
Also, because I added this after we looked at the character sheet, just so you know, Maki does have 2 points in beautiful.
Yep, that's absolutely fine. Just give us 1 sec while our AST takes this phone call, because she's playing Seraphina.
Yeah.
Do 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 do. Okay, I'm done.
That look of just, I'm gonna kill you. It's funny because I think she can hear us. I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Maybe.
One second, folks.
Apologies, that was my stepdad, and he never calls me, so I just had to make sure it wasn't something serious.
You're fine.
You're all good.
We're just sitting here poking fun, so.
Yep.
So, Maki gives 2 very short raps on the door before opening it and walking in. Seraphina, you find, is sitting at her desk, muttering to herself.
Honestly, what am I going to do with these people? She says before closing a folder, looking up at you. Is this conversation going to require alcohol?
Most definitely. And Maki's gonna shut the door behind her.
Seraphina takes a moment, stands up from her desk, rummages around in a cabinet behind her, grabs a little clicker, presses it, and one of the picture frames flips up to show a hole in the wall with a number of crystal decanters. You would recognize this as her own private stash, the good stuff, the stuff they don't sell in the club because, well, it usually costs somebody else's arm and leg to get.
Seraphina picks up one of the decanters along with 2 crystal glasses that are probably also worth an arm and a leg to most people, as she walks over to her desk, placing one in front of Maki, another in front of where she sits, pouring the alcohol into both glasses as she sits down in her chair.
Maki picks up the glass and kind of swirls it around. This is good shit. Takes a sip.
The moment it hits your tongue, Maki, it's like those warm... You find that it brings back quite a few memories. Evokes memories of nights by warm campfires, just kind of looking out across the fields, sunsets, fresh mown grass. Your favorite band in concert, front row, maybe in the mosh pit.
Of course. You can't expect me to drink anything that is subpar, can't you?
Of course not. Never from you. Maki kind of just rubs her temple and she goes, I'm just gonna get right to it because we both know we don't care for small talk or the bullshit. Kieran's dead.
My condolences. I know you two have been with each other since the beginning.
I'm going to die soon.
That is true, unless you can find another Domitor.
I need a sire.
Well, that's not a way I thought this conversation was going to go.
Someone got Kieran killed, got Anna killed, and also killed Damien. I want to find out who, and I want them gone. I can't do that as just a ghoul.
If you're asking me to be your sire, Maki, you should know I don't typically take children.
I would never ask you to be my sire. Not anything against you. I just know that you don't. I'm asking for help in finding someone that will give me the power I need to find this bastard.
Maki, I understand you are on a very close time frame. However, don't you think you might be rushing this a bit? I mean, I'm guessing this just happened.
They kidnapped me. They hung me from a hook. They killed Anna without so much as breathing. And Kieran died in the Shadowlands because they trapped him there. This is so much bigger.
Make me a composure and resolve roll, please. You can feel the anger. You can feel the heat of the injustice, really, bubbling up underneath the surface, and you just barely managed to keep a hold on it.
It has been 70 years that I've been a ghoul. And the end goal was always that I was going to get turned, that I was going to change. I just didn't want it to be Kieran because someone had to be the tech guru for this fucking place. It's not me rushing it. It's me finally coming to a decision. After 70 years, it's time.
Let's say, hypothetically, I can help you find a sire. Not saying that I will. You have to understand we can't just very well go to a store and be like, oh, I pick this one. That's not how it works, Maki.
I know it doesn't work that way, but I know that you have connections and you could find someone. I'm not looking for a clan. I need someone that gives me the power and versatility to be able to take this fucker down. And I think you know what I mean by that.
You want to join Caintiff?
Yes. It's the only one that's going to not give me the restrictions.
It's also the only one that will make you possibly a bigger outcast than the Nosferatu and the Malkavians.
Me and Kieran were already outcasts. He was a Lasombra, for God's sake, that didn't do anything that normal Lasombra do. His sire left their little organization. I already had a target on my fucking back. Joining this isn't going to change that. Seraphina, I wouldn't ask this big of a favor if it wasn't important. I know what I'm giving up. I know the cost. But I can't sit by knowing that the person who killed Kieran, the person who killed Anna, the person who killed Damien, and is not gonna stop. He's just gonna keep going until everyone is dead. Look what they did to the Bite. Look what they did to your bar, your club. This is important. And I would never ask for this big of a favor if I wasn't sure.
Seraphina gives you a long, hard look. The only reason I am even entertaining this notion is due to the fact that you've helped my establishment and because of my close relation with Kieran. Because you know what you're asking, even if it seems like you're not fully thinking over the consequences of these actions.
I am very aware of the consequences. I know it seems like I'm rushing into this, that I am going through this in just anger and rage. I know that. But I have sat on my ass for 70 years, coming up with excuse after excuse as to why I wouldn't become kindred, why I would just stay as a ghoul forever. And now my clock is ticking. And while yes, I could find a domator and I could stay as a ghoul, that still binds me to another person. I don't want to be bound if it's not to Kieran. I made that deal with Kieran when he changed me into a ghoul, and he is the only person that will ever have that right. So it's either I die or I become kindred.
Seraphina thinks it over. Her fingers gently drumming against the desk, her nails making that clickety-click sound. You will still be bound, she says, looking at you, just not in the same way. If I agree to this, Maki, it isn't going to just be a simple favor. In a manner of speaking, I am saving your life by doing this. You will owe me a life boon, and you will be at my beck and call whenever I damn well please. Do I make myself clear?
If you hadn't said it, I was gonna offer it. I owe you everything. Kieran owed you everything. And if Kieran trusted you with his entire life, then I trust you. We've known each other for a long time. And I also know that I could never ask this big of a favor of you without giving something in return. Whatever you need, I'm there.
Charisma persuasion roll for you.
Hold on, I lost a dice.
Happens to the best of us.
Okay, I rolled 2 10s, and then on top of the 2 10s, I rolled 1, 2, 3 successes.
2 10s doubles into 4 plus 3 is 7. Seraphina, it is your show.
Seraphina looks at you for a long while, picks up her phone, starts to dial a number, raises it to her ear. Of course she decides to change her number again. Raylan, what will I do with you? She says, looking at you. I know someone who might be able to get you in contact with someone you wish to speak to. They are new to the night, as it were. Matter of fact, they had a run-in with Kieran about... Actually, it would have been last night, I believe.
All right. Beggars can't be choosers.
Like I said, they, and by the way, it is they, them for this person, they should be able to at least get you in contact with their sire, she says, as she dials Echo's number. Brings the phone up to her ear as the phone rings.
Give me 1 second. Critter, are you alright?
Yeah, no, just my phone rang and I had to pee anyway, so everything is cool.
Okay. The phone rings. And a very familiar voice for Seraphina picks up at the other end. Good evening.
Echo, my dear, how are you?
What can I do for you, Seraphina? You never call me out of the blue unless you need something.
Darling, I'm hurt.
Sorry, it's been a long night. I've been it's been a long couple of days and I've been busy. How are you?
Understand. I am completely fine, my dear. Now, you aren't wrong, though. I do need a small favor. You wouldn't happen to have your... how do I word this over the phone? Our mutual friend that I introduced you to, you wouldn't happen to have her new phone number, would you? I tried giving her a ring, and for some reason she changed it on me. Again.
You know the deal with her, right? I get one chance, one call.
Well, that's why I was thinking you could just give the phone number to me, and that way she doesn't have to know.
And have that blow back on me? No, Seraphina, that's not how I work, and you know that. I don't just go giving out phone numbers willy-nilly, especially given my profession. So, tell me, what are you looking for?
She looks towards Maki before speaking. You remember that situation that she helped you with in introducing you into what you are now?
How can I forget? It was a defining moment of my life.
Let's just say I'm on a bit of a time constraint and I have an individual who is looking to go down the same route.
Like, the exact same route?
In a manner of speaking, however, unlike with your situation, whereas you could have waited months, years even, I have perhaps less than 4 days, depending on how quickly their situation advances.
We had to talk about that, if it's what I'm thinking. Okay, well, I guess that kind of fits in with me as of late. You know my address. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
I have heard about your new habit of picking up more and more strays. Need I remind you that some decorum needs to take place, Echo?
I'm building something, Seraphina. You knew this the moment I walked into your establishment. I'm building something. I will eventually slow down, but for right now I need pieces on the board and I don't have them. So, you need something from me. Isn't that quaint?
Well, I was looking for a phone number, actually, my dear.
I don't just go giving
But
out
it seems you're playing hard to get.
Well, if you give me a second. You know my address. Bring them here. Let's sit down and have a talk. And if need be, I will get in touch with her myself. That being said, I do believe we have a little matter of, was it a minor boon that I owed you for this? At one point? I will consider us fair and square if I do this for you. That is how this works, isn't it?
That it is, and I do appreciate you actually taking your lessons to heart, my dear.
I do learn.
It's nice to see you. Well, of course. You can learn a lot from all of your teachers. Now, would you want this? I'm going to probably send this individual with one of our shuttles, unless, of course, you would prefer if a certain security individual accompany them.
As delicious as that would be, if this is a purely business arrangement, I think it might be best to keep things on the DL.
Very well. I will have them escorted to your places of establishment. I understand it is the small apartment complex that Ro picked you up from not too long ago?
Same one as always.
Excellent. Expect them in about 30 minutes, give or take.
I'll make sure things are cleaned up, and we put the coffee on and whatnot. We'll sit down and have a nice chat. It's been a pleasure doing business, sweetheart.
Of course, my dear. You have a lovely evening.
And Echo hangs up the phone.
Seraphina also hangs up the phone. Well, at the very least, I have someone that can possibly get in contact with you, although knowing them, it might be a different outcome altogether. A minor boon for a life boon, though. That's not a terrible trade, don't you think?
It never is. I'm guessing I'm going to be going to meet them to see if I can talk my way.
In a manner of speaking, yes. Do be
Sound like a
nice to
peach.
them. Oh, they can be. They're very entertaining, in a way.
Oh, if they've got your attention, then they've got to be entertaining. All right, Seraphina, thank you for the favor. I will let you know how it goes.
Of course, Maki. Also, do take care of yourself. Take a moment.
I am taking it one step at a time. I also need to sit down with you and discuss the bite.
What about the bite?
Kieran's gone. Now, technically, my name is on the lease, but Kieran is the owner. And seeing
Yes.
as he's gone, and I can't very well, let's say, prove that he's, well, dead, I may or may not need someone else's name on the paper in interim.
I see. I
Of course,
have
I'd
been
give you a
thinking
good
of
price.
expanding. Of
course,
course.
The only thing I would ever ask is that I get to keep the apartment that's above the building.
Oh, darling, I would never kick you out of your home. But I have been expanding a bit. I have recently joined in, well, I suppose it's called a secret entertainment thing that's going to be released next month. But I have been meaning to have something that's a bit more out in the open. Don't get me wrong. I love my establishment here in the secrecy. But it would be nice to have an establishment that's a bit more open to the public so I can expand my herd, as it were.
Well, as you know, the bite is open to humans and kindred. We could sit down and discuss the business after I get this settled and talk about co-ownership.
Of course, my dear. I can have... Actually, Echo could probably help with coming up with a cover story for what happened with Kieran. They are a reporter, after all.
Oh, so you finally got one of those under you.
Not only that, but I actually have their past publisher, editor, whatever it's called, they owe me a favor due to a little thing that happened at the Riverside Healing Center.
Oh. That's one thing I will say about you, Seraphina. I have always loved your business sense.
Oh, you flatter me.
Every day. All right. Let me go take care of this business, and maybe while I'm there, talk to Echo about the cover story. I assume you'll probably have someone write something up as to fair terms.
Of course, my dear. I will make sure it is fair on both hands. While you're there, though, I would if you could tell Echo, because they need to speak with Isabella about something. Apparently, Isabella's kind of owes them a favor right now, although she is unaware, that she should be able to speak to them in about a night or two.
Can do. All right, Seraphina, thank you. And I mean that sincerely. Thank you.
Of course, my dear.
All right. And I will be holding something akin to a wake for Kieran at some point. And I will let you know the details of that when I know. But I'm going to head out and go find that driver's suites. See if they can give me a ride.
Oh, they'll be at your service for the rest of the night. They've been paid very handsomely.
Do pay your people well. All right. Thank you, Seraphina. I'm going to head out. And she's going to chug her drink. Just chug the rest of it and then head out.
That is not... She shakes her head as she delicately sips her alcohol, just shaking her head.
You walk out of Seraphina's office. Part of the way to what you need. Back down into the bar, where you find Sweets sitting at the counter.
I'm gonna walk up to her and just kind of sit up next to her and say, since I have you for the rest of the night, I need a ride to an address.
That is what I'm here for.
Yes. So if we could, I'd like to head out as soon as possible.
Sweets, your phone dings with a text notification.
All right. Take my phone.
Pull it out. It's from S, and there's an address.
All right, I know pace. You ready to go?
Yes, please.
I'm just gonna... Sweets is just gonna chug the rest of her drink. Put it down. Leave a good tip. All right, then. Let's go.
As you stroll out of the Velvet Pussycat, we slip once more into the evening. Outside. About 20 minutes.
Hear the little beep beep of the car.
Car unlocks. You both slide in. Again, the ride's just as smooth as it was before. You get that there's a little more to Sweets than meets the eye. It takes you about 20 minutes before you're rolling down some older streets of the city. Pull up outside of a rather older apartment building. This looks like it was once a house at one point, maybe from the early 1900s, but has since been converted into apartment units. The lights seem to be flickering a little bit and then go out. It seems like they're struggling to come on, but they're not really having much luck. And there's a solitary figure standing outside in a leather jacket. Startlingly green eyes. I think it was green. It's either green or blue, one of the two.
I think it's great.
Pretty sure it's green. Just kind of standing there.
One moment as I check the art.
Thank you.
It's blue.
Startlingly blue eyes. Almost piercing. Standing just kind of out front, leaning up against one of the front walls. Taking a haul off of a cigarette.
I'm gonna head in. If you could just stay close by. Talking to Sweets.
Do I have any special instructions when it comes to tonight? Am I supposed to go wherever my charge is going, or
You have been
do I
paid.
just wait by the car?
You have been paid extremely well. Instructions were not given. However, if you're going to be looking out after Maki here for the evening, for the amount that you've been paid, making sure that they remain somewhat upright might not be a bad idea.
Sorry, love, but I gotta keep an eye on you. My job's to stay with you. Now, I keep my eyes closed and my ears closed, and I won't tell nobody, but I gotta come with you.
Only fair. I know how much Seraphina pays. All right, let's go then.
You get out of the car. You hear the click of it lock. You hear the little beep. You walk up to the building. And the individual that's standing outside kind of flicks their eyes to you for a moment. It's a fairly androgynous looking face. Bit of a scarf around the neck. Good evening.
Evening.
Evening,
I
Governor.
presume you're Echo?
Are you the one I'm waiting for?
I am.
Let's go up and have a talk, shall we?
Will do. Maki's gonna follow behind.
Echo reaches into a pocket, pulls out a set of keys, opens the front door, makes sure you're both in before letting it go, and then walks all the way to the top floor. It's like 2 or 3 flights. Pretty sure it's 3. It's a short little walk down the hallway. Opens an apartment door at the far end. And walks inside.
Maki's gonna follow, kind of keeping an eye on her surroundings, but she's gonna follow behind.
Inside, there's what, 5? Yeah, there's 5 individuals. One of them seems to be a bit of a younger man. One of them seems to be an older Filipino lady. One of them seems to be fairly young, and you're not sure whether male or female. Again, fairly androgynous looking. There is an kind of a, I would say 20s, 30s, somewhere around there, woman who I believe the description used to describe her was a face only a mother could love. And then sitting over by one of the living room windows is a much older woman who's literally just sitting there and staring ahead.
I was hoping this could be a private conversation.
Echo shuts the door. To the small one-bedroom apartment. Walks into the living room. Points at a couch on the other side of the room.
Maki kind of...
Anything you
Just,
say here will be
just-
kept here.
Maki sighs, goes, all right, and sits down on the couch.
So,
The teen, hearing this, grabs headphones and just instantly puts them on, music blaring from them.
So, You want to talk? These individuals are all with me. They know what's talked about inside this apartment stays here. Doesn't go outside the doors. Consider them not here. They are mine.
Maki kind of nods and goes, I'm not one for pleasantries or small talk. I'd rather just get right into the meat of it.
Before we do that, cup of coffee? Humans,
No, thank you.
no? Cup of tea?
No, I think I'm
You're
all good
quiet.
for beverages
I
tonight.
wish.
Okay then. Let's have it. Why am I being called in to talk to you?
You met Kieran.
Met is not a word I would use to describe that encounter.
Well, I don't know what the encounter is. Kieran was...
I had a rather quick introduction to a wall.
Ah, that sounds like him. Kieran was my domator.
You're a ghoul. Okay, and
I was.
What does Kieran's ghoul want with me?
Kieran's dead.
Well, that complicates things for you.
It sure does. And I am on the lookout to be embraced. I'm just gonna cut straight to the shit. I don't have a lot of time. I've been a ghoul for 70 years, and it's quickly gonna catch up on me.
And feel that twinge in your neck again. Kind of a stiffness in your hands.
And Maki's gonna start rubbing her hands a little bit. It's very quickly coming up on me. And I will not be anyone else's ghoul after Kieran.
You see.
And I am wanting to be embraced, and I was told that you could get me into contact with someone who could help.
I assume she was talking about the person who made me. Echo says.
I was not given that information. I was just told that I needed to talk to you.
See, here's the thing. When I was made, there was very specific requirements, instructions, and I was made to agree that my contact with the individual who made me limited. I have exactly one call. I can contact her once, and that's it, if I get into trouble. She specified, what was it she said? Oh yeah, preferably when there's violence to be had.
I want revenge on the person who killed Kieran, on the person who killed Anna, the person who kidnapped me, and the person who killed an innocent man, an innocent child. He just turned 18.
Give me one moment. Let me check something quickly. Echo's eyes leave Maki for a moment and flick briefly over to the youngest individual in the room with the headphones on. Echo Smiles. Innocent, you say. Just turned 18?
Kieran was paying for his college and paying for his family to live a good life.
Now
We took care of that boy like he was our own.
Make me charisma plus persuasion roll.
Two 10s and then 1 success after that, so 5.
One moment as we attempt to have a roll off. You said 2 10s and...
And 1 success after that, so 5. Because 2 10s is 4, so 5.
Echo's eyes flick back to Maki. Now, that's something I can get behind. I've taken somebody under my wing as of late that kind of fits that. It tugs at my heartstrings a little bit. But as with so many of us, I have to ask, what's in it for me?
Maki kind of looks at her,
Them.
smiles. Sorry. Looks at them, smiles, goes, and that's where we negotiate. What do you want?
Your time is limited. 4 days,
Yes.
I think is what we were told.
Yes. If not sooner. I'm already starting to feel it.
So what did Seraphina charge you for getting in touch with me?
A life bone.
You see Echo smile for a moment, just a bit of a fanged smile as a lip raises on one side. You know, not everybody gets what they want in this life. Things don't always turn out the way we planned. Some of us are left to flounder, and others are given a second chance. Chance to turn things around. Chance to make something of ourselves. What's your skill set?
You could call me a techie.
Now that intrigues me.
I'm going to lay it out for you right now. I do not want to be tied to someone.
I'm not gonna tie you. I'm not gonna make you a ghoul or anything like that. You've already said that's off the table. I respect that. 100% respect that. But I've got a soft spot for certain stories, certain cases, certain individuals. Everybody here came from rough backgrounds, and we are helping them work things out. With you looking to look out after the innocents, with you kind of following where your gut takes you, and with you looking into the truth of who killed Maki, or who killed Kieran and going after them, that's something I can get behind. That is something I can respect. Do you know what you're giving up?
Yes.
Because once this choice is made, you can't go back.
I have been making excuses for 70 years as to why I wouldn't become kindred. I told myself it was because I didn't want to be what Kieran was, because I cannot live without my tech. I have floundered over the decision throughout the years. I am old. Granted, not as old as some of the kindred that are walking around. It's shit or get off the pot.
Can't do
I
it.
can't make excuses anymore. They took what was mine. They hurt innocence, and they're going to keep doing it. And I need the power and the skills.
Echo grins. Very fanged grin. There's something flitting back and forth between their behind their eyes. You've seen it a million times with Kieran. It's the look of a predator. It's the look of a monster. Of somebody who knows exactly what they are and what they are capable of. You're absolutely sure?
I am 100% sure.
Good. Then here are my terms. I will not call my maker. I will do it.
Maki kind of looks at you.
In return for saving your life, you owe me a life boon. A life debt. And, with you being a tech person, that fits right into my agenda because I need somebody to run some of my socials in tech for me. I need them to grow.
You see Maki audibly just go,
I'm not tying you to me. But if I do this, your life is mine.
Maki kind of thinks it over.
I am fairly fair. I don't do anything without a reason. Despite all appearances to impulsive decisions, things are rather calculated for me. Everybody here, except for one. Yes, they've been ghouled, but they haven't been given enough to strip their free will. If I wanted servants, I would have made them, with the exception of the one in the chair. She fucked up and took away somebody else's choice. So I took away her free will.
You see Maki kind of like suck on her teeth.
But I will give you what you want. I'm building something. And right now, you are useful for me.
You see Maki kind of like, it's like she's trying to hold back anger. She looks like that hit a sore spot for her. And she looks at you and she goes, I am looking for a sire that will cut the sire bond. Are you willing to do that?
You'll have autonomy to do whatever you want.
That's not what I'm asking. I was bound to one person. He was the love of my life and my family, and he is the only person I will ever bind myself to again. I am looking for a sire who will cut the bond. I will do whatever you want. You want a techie person? I will be your techie. You want a life boon? I'll give you a life boon. But unless you can guarantee me that you can cut the bond as soon as you embrace me, I'm sorry. I can't take it. I have been a slave. I have been useful to many people.
You misunderstand.
And I know you're saying that you won't treat me like one.
No, you will not be bound to me. In return, you are my tech person, and you give me a life boon.
In my term, and I'm doing a counter negotiation here, because this isn't just all one way, I want the sire bond cut as much as you can say. And while granted, Seraphina trusts you enough that I will give you that small amount of trust that I can give right now.
What part of there will be no bond did you not hear? I will cut it.
I apologize, I didn't hear that part.
You're good.
Maki goes, okay. You just need a techie, and I just owe you a life boon.
Correct.
It's a fair deal. Probably wouldn't get something like this with anyone else. I'd offer myself, but I don't think you need my rage on top of what you've got going here.
We tend to be a little stuck up and snooty. I'm sure you've noticed. We only do what we want because it serves our purposes. I'm looking for a mutually beneficial arrangement here, because my entire goal is to make the world a better place. I'm not like those kindred that you've met.
I can respect that. And I'm looking for the versatility that Caitiff can give me for the power.
Same reason I went. Do we have a deal?
Maki thinks about it. Give me 10 minutes. I need to step outside and collect myself. But yes, you have a deal.
Echo looks over to the seat beside the window. Holds a set of keys out. Candy, make sure she gets back in when she's ready.
Candy, without a word, stands up, walks over, takes the keys from you, and nods.
Give her the space she needs.
Of course.
We'll see you in a few minutes.
Maki nods. She's going to walk outside.
I'll be right here.
As Maki leaves, Echo's eyes flit to Sweets. Interesting night for you, no?
Well, don't happen often that I get just one job for the whole night. Especially not something like this. But it pays. And I get to meet interesting people.
You see, Seraphina wouldn't have sent her to me if she didn't see something in her. And I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have called you if you didn't hold promise.
But let's just say they reserve my services for important matters.
I'll have to keep that in mind. Echo reaches into the jacket, into the inside pocket, and pulls out a business card. It says Echo
I
Vision.
think I've handed out. Go.
It says Echo Vision on it. It's got a picture of like an eye, and just a number to text and an email.
I think this is. I don't think I've handed out so many IDs and one not before. She's gonna grab her wallet, put your card in there, and then pull out 2 different ones. Pull them at you.
Cat calls. Cute name.
My sister's got a good sense of humor.
Well, I'm gonna shift back to Maki outside.
Maki's just standing right outside. She's kind of rubbing her hands again. She's feeling her heartbeat, focusing on it. And she's just kind of thinking to herself, she's like, it's been 70 years in the making. I didn't think this is how it would happen. And Maki's going to pull out her phone and she's going to call Kieran's sire, who's like her mom.
You hear a voice pick up on the other end. Hello?
Hey, Mom.
Oh, hi. Fancy talking to you. What's going on?
Kieran's dead.
There's silence on the other end of the line.
I'm being...
How did he die?
He sacrificed himself in the Shadowlands, but somebody trapped him down there. And they killed Anna. They killed Damien.
I'm sorry.
I'm changing tonight, and I wanted you to be the first to know.
So long as it's your decision made of your own free will.
And
this is the path you decide you want to go down. And you are absolutely sure.
I am. The only reason I put it off for so long is because I couldn't give up my tech.
And now?
I need to find the bastard who did it, and I'm gonna die soon if I don't. And I refuse to be bound to anyone that's not him.
That is completely fair. If you're looking for my blessing, you've got it.
I just wanted to hear your voice.
Tell me. The person that he sacrificed himself for, was she worth it?
From what I've heard of her, I think so.
Then here's what I want you to do. I want you to find the bastard who killed him and turn him into a pile of fucking dust.
It's the plan.
Good.
Can I still call you?
Absolutely. This doesn't change anything. I am absolutely there for you, unconditionally.
I'll never see the sun again.
No, you won't.
But 70 years of sunshine, I think, is enough.
You better be sure.
I am. For Kieran. For me.
Then, good luck.
Thanks. I love you, Mom.
Love you too, kiddo. And
Bye.
the line clicks.
Maki kind of like wipes her face as tears started to come down. Yes, they're real tears. Shut up. I have mommy issues. Anyways. Maki sucks in a deep breath. And she looks at her phone one more time, flicks to a picture. It's of her, arms around Anna, and there's just a blank space next to Anna because Kieran couldn't get picked up in the picture. And she looks at it and she goes, I'll find the bastard. And she closes the phone, puts it in her pocket, and goes back upstairs.
As you enter the apartment, Echo is sitting there, actually watching you as you walk in. The room is oddly silent. It's almost like a heavy weight hangs over it.
There is the.
Pardon?
I would say anyone with supernatural hearing can hear the teenagers' music playlist, and it sounds like it's some sort of heavy metal bullshit to try and drown out whatever conversation may or may not be happening, because they are looking straight down at a textbook.
There's a heavy weight hanging over the room.
Maki walks in, goes back to the couch, sits down. She pulls off her leather jacket, sets it neatly next to her, and she looks Echo square in the eyes. And she's just got this stone, resolved look on her face. She goes, I'm ready.
All right. After tonight, everything changes. I hope you've made your peace with the world as you knew it. Echo stands up from the couch, taps Cory on the shoulder.
Cory looks up, takes off one of the lifts up. Yes?
I'm going to show you what we are. The nature of us. This is a learning lesson for you. Come with me. You stand in the corner, and you don't say a word.
Cory glances at Marisol, who does not look pleased at the fact that Cory's being included in this, but doesn't say anything. But they look at you and slowly nod, taking off their headphones and, getting up.
Echo's eyes flick to Maki. Let's go. And Echo walks off into the bedroom.
Maki will follow them.
And
Sweets is just gonna quietly follow like a little shadow for Maki.
as Echo enters the room, Cory stands off in the corner. Echo points to the bed. Sit.
Maki sits.
Echo leans in, grabs Maki's wrist, and bites into it without even hesitating.
Maki doesn't even flinch. It's like she's done this for 70 years.
And Echo drinks. And drinks. And drinks. You can feel yourself growing colder. You can feel awareness of your body shrinking, your limbs going numb. Your vision starts to blur. And you hear Echo's voice. Last chance.
Do it.
And with that, one last pull as you feel the blood flow from you. And a moment later, you feel something coppery at your lips. Something being held over them.
Echo parts her lips and starts to drink.
You mean Maki?
Maki, shit, yeah. But yeah, Echo on Echo.
You can feel your body grow cold. Burning kind of sweeps through you for a moment. And then it's like you're floating on cloud 9. You're not really sure how much time has passed. You can feel your breathing hitch. Once. Twice. And then it becomes almost mechanical. Out of habit. You feel your heartbeat flutter. And a moment later you feel it falter. Thoughts flow through your head almost sluggishly. Feel a prickling sensation in the back of your skull. Something that wasn't there before. You can feel an itching inside of your mouth. And your skin grows cold. You're not really sure how much time has passed. But when you open your eyes again, Echo's standing over you. Been a while since I've had chocolate. Everything seems sharper. Audio-wise. You can hear the heartbeats in the next room, something you never thought you'd be able to. You can hear cars driving by outside the building. You can hear dogs barking what's probably a couple of streets over. It's almost too much. You can smell things that you have no right being able to smell. You can smell emotions. You can see the cracks in the ceiling. You can see each individual star like a world unleashed outside the window. And then it hits you. That ache in the pit of your stomach. Thing that every kindred knows. The thing that never goes away. And from now on, the thing that controls your life. Echo looks down at you. And unlike the fun-loving, free-hearted Echo that most people have been watching up until now, there's something cold in their eyes. They reach into a pocket, pull out a business card. They drop it on top of you with an almost detached feeling of, well, detached lack of emotion. I'll be in touch. Get out.
Maki sets up, takes a business card, puts it in her pocket. She's like, the bond's broken.
It was never put in place.
Good. And Maki just gets up and walks out. Doesn't say another word.
And that is where we're going to end session.